Now, it gives me a distinct pleasure to welcome to our conference Governor Inslee, Governor of Washington. He has, in his 11-year leadership in the Washington state, exercised, I would say, a lot of what we discussed today. He has focused on many of the brain capital elements, even if he might have not thought about this as brain capital, because brain capital is a novel concept. But he is definitely passionate about clean energy transition and about fighting climate change. He has taken active stance also on mental health issues. And I want to recall that the state of Washington is also host of the globally renowned Brain Health Atlas. So with that in mind, it gives me great pleasure to give the floor to Governor Inslee.
Good morning. It is a delight to join you here. I'm here mostly for Climate Week, and of course the whole bunch of us in humanity face a central question: is the human brain conscious enough to actually save itself from extinction? It's an open question, and I'm glad we got people working on the neurology to make sure that we answer that question correctly. Listen, this is a personal vindication for me to receive this invitation. I'll never forget a day when I was at Stanford University in 1970 and I was taking a human biology class. It was the first one taught by a famous evolutionary scientist, Cullen Pittendrigg, and we were studying the evolution of human consciousness, and I wasn't doing very well. And I turned in a paper and he called me to his office and he sat me down and he says, "Look, Jay, you seem to have some promise, but this paper just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And at the rate you're going, you really aren't going to ever amount to anything." And I looked him right in the eye and I said, "Professor, I have a lot of respect for you, but let me tell you this. The day will come when I'm addressing the United Nations General Assembly group on the human consciousness and neurology." And here I am right now. So this is a moment of great vindication. So my comment is that brain science is an underlying social challenge for every person who serves in democracy right now. It underlies all the major challenges and peripherally associated with climate change as well that we have. 70% of our citizens are going to need some type of long-term care, and a dominant reason for that are neurological challenges. Every single person who serves in a democratic system worldwide now is going to be facing those challenges of an aging population with neurological challenges. And whether we ignore those problems or actually address them is a central question for democracies as well, because treating neurological problems is not a cheap exercise. It is a complex system that we're dealing with, and it requires a lot of care to make sure it's cared for. I just want to report to you, in my state, I'm very proud of our state, because we were the first state in the United States to adopt a long-term care program that's actually financed. And we're excited about that because we've decided actually not to ignore difficulties with brain science and neurological activity, but actually to treat it. And starting with our folks mostly of an aging population. Trudy just got back from a trip to Sweden looking at some of their dementia care issues. And we can learn from other countries, which we are, but you need a way to finance this. And the fact that you are highlighting this issue, I think, is very, very important. And some of your astounding contributions are going to help us avoid those dementia problems. But we got to treat people with the problem that they have now as well. And what you're doing, I know, in your professional activities are going to help democracies moving forward. Now, obviously, the scientific community is principally of value in that. Paul Allen, of course, left us a great legacy in Seattle, Washington. Mapping the human brain is very difficult. We hope that the Allen Institute will answer the most important question in the United States right now is there sentience, is there actual consciousness in the United States Congress? And we look forward to him trying to I can tell that because I was in Congress for 14 years, so I'm authorized to pose that question. Every democracy is struggling with opioid abuse right now. We've lost 17,000 of my citizens in the last 14 years from opioid abuse, and the parents who are weeping losing their children to fentanyl right now is one of the saddest things in our state. And finding ways to really break that cycle, and if we can do it through science rather than just good policy, that would be really wonderful. There have been significant strides in that regard with Suboxone and some of our chemical treatments to help people over this most difficult human challenge. And we're certainly looking forward to the scientific community giving us some additional assistance in that regard. But again, you can't ignore that problem. You got to go after it. And those who study neurology and those who are really understanding the brain are central to that mission statement. And I look forward to any of you who are associated with that type of work, because the human tragedy, particularly in our kids, you know, you get an 18-year-old kid with so much promise, and this fentanyl is a whole new order of disaster. It's like a quantum leap, you know. It made heroin look like aspirin. And so finding some solution to that, we're very interested in your ability to do so. So my central message this morning is that wherever you're from, wherever you're involved, you're central to the social challenges of democracies across the world right now. And we hope that we can help you, and I hope you'll get to know your legislators, your governors, your presidents, to help them understand the centrality of the work that you are doing. I'm very serious about that. When I talk to folks in the scientific community, the one thing I ask them to do is to get to know their policymakers. And you will be shocked at how effective you can be if you do that. If you develop a personal relationship with your policymakers, you can move the needle big time. And that one relationship with your members of your parliament or your executive branch can translate to millions of dollars of research grants as well. So I kind of try to encourage those in the scientific community who have interface with policy, put your skills to work, not just in the lab, but in the parliaments, in the governor's office, in the White House. I really encourage you. It is a worthwhile investment of your time. We need your genius to really solve this problem. Now, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. They're all worried about artificial intelligence. I'm more worried about natural stupidity. I actually think it is a more dangerous thing in this regard. And frankly, you can help policymakers on the road to the future. So with that, I want to thank you for the work you're doing. I want to tell you the sky's the limit. I probably won't live long enough to really understand human consciousness, but I am in awe of those who are studying it. So good luck to us all. Take care, and take care of the climate while you're at it. Thanks a lot.